And that's rolling now, I'm good to go? Yeah, cool. Kia ora, my name's Jamie Price and I am the resident artist here at Photosynthesis. That felt very awkward. My first ever experience with photography was through my mother growing up. She's quite an artistic person, but always as a hobbyist. And I remember from quite a young age seeing these beautiful, mainly black and white photographs of like the town hall and a lot of like the brutalist architecture around Canterbury as well. One day I was going through, just some old drawers at the house and pulled out this camera and I was just blown away by it. So I started doing that, just taking snapshots of my friends and just things I found interesting. For a long time, didn't do anything with them. Slowly started to build confidence, sort of show off a bit more of my work. So I was in a pretty weird space going into the lockdown, as I'm sure quite a few people were. I was at the time working as a chef while studying to be a primary school teacher. Going into that lockdown and not having to work in hospitality made me really reflect on where I wanted to be and what brought me joy in life, and that sort of inspired me to make the jump into studying photography. I've been studying for 3 years now, so I'm into my final year in 2023. I've learned a lot, and the more you learn, the more you realise you don't actually know as well. I've started working part-time as a freelancer and doing primarily product photography work, and also starting to pursue more of my sort of art photography pathway as well, looking at exhibitions and selling my work as well. My first ever sort of interaction with photography as art, as opposed to just necessarily a photograph, was Daido Moriyama's work, who's a Japanese photographer who I stumbled across actually whilst in Japan at just a random exhibit. And Daido Moriyama's very well known for his very gritty, contrasty black and white work, showcasing sort of things you wouldn't normally photograph. And I find that quite an interesting concept, to look at these sort of potentially ugly environments and showcase them in like a beautiful way. I really enjoy my style of portraiture as well, which is quite straight on, kind of matter of fact. One of my favorite photographs I've ever taken actually is a portrait of a friend at a New Year's party. He just sort of came up to me and looked at my camera and was like, oh, this is so cool. And then he sort of did this pose, and yeah, I took this beautiful, super contrasty, push black and white HP5 photograph of him. So this is the first camera I ever owned. It's my mum's old Canon A1 program, and I still use it to this day quite regularly as my 35mm workhorse. I do have, a variety of medium format cameras now and stuff, which are great for high resolution specific stuff. But as far as sort of my day-to-day shooter, going out with friends, walking around town, anything like that, going on holiday, this thing never leaves without me. I never leave without this. My dream would be to just be a full-time artist and to exhibit work and sell that and being able to create beautiful things. But that's quite a privileged position to be in, and I recognise that. So going forwards, I want to establish a balance of being able to do freelance-based work and also pursue my own art practice as well. So my creative practice this year draws a lot of inspiration from some local artists that I really respect. Exploring the themes of more sustainable-based photography practices, especially within the analogue world. The big point for this year will be actually developing film with seaweed, funnily enough. I haven't actually shown anybody yet, and it's still in development, but the idea behind it is to sort of geographically sort of explore foraging and how that can actually have different stylistic impacts upon the image-making process as well. The end of it, I am hoping will look like sort of some form of photo book, and yeah, utilising maybe forage materials as well and other bits and bobs. Having the opportunity to do a residency here is huge. I mean, having access to amazing facilities and lighting and a space where I can come and even just focus on my work outside of my house is so huge. And I really respect Photosynthesis and Federico's work at starting to bring more of a community focus to photography in the city, because I think it does need it and it's really positive. So I'll be showing a variety of my sort of archive photographs here at the Synasive Collective. The exhibition starts on February the 10th, which is a Friday, and we're going to have an opening night, and I'm really excited to not just showcase my work, but also meet a whole bunch of new people and hopefully expand that community of photographers and artists and creative people and appreciators.